Every piece of furniture crafted by the Post family in their Ausable Forks, New York workshop tells a unique story of the forest from which it came.
Do you get a lot of these materials from your own backyard?
Well, if you consider that the Adirondacks is our backyard, then yes.
Shaped by hands attuned to the grain of the wood and the landscape it seeks to reflect.
Tradition.
Yeah, we like making the furniture that can educate people a little bit about nature, and the more you know about nature, the more you appreciate it and the more you want to protect it.
But this story of craftsmanship may have never been told if it were not for a life-changing event in 2002.
I suffered a traumatic head injury during a ski accident, and I was unable to return to my previous employment, but it took me a long time to regain my memory and remember how I do things. And to this day, I don't remember how to do things, but if I start doing it, it comes back to me.
One of those things was woodworking. Where his memories fail, his hands just seem to know what to do. The purpose provided a path to healing and a new professional chapter in Adirondack rustic furniture.
But once I start the process, it all starts to fall in place.
The orders started flowing in, including major projects for Lake Placid hotels. Then came a turning point for Joanne, a nurse for 25 years.
One day when Larry was doing very well selling his furniture, I came home from work and I said, "Oh, by the way, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm going to be working with you."
Her design and painting skills infused new life into their business. Soon, their son Ryan joined the team. Then, daughter Jillian.
My first goal was environmental science. To keep my hands busy, I would just do wood carvings. One sold. I said, great. I need another, and it just kept going.
Building furniture as a family. A storefront in Lake Placid would follow L. Post Rustics Artisan Furniture and Fine Art. Commissions that combine all of their talents in jaw-dropping pieces that celebrate the rugged beauty of the northeastern wilderness.
It's almost like a puzzle, right? And I very much enjoy the process of like finding something in the wood.
Her carvings seem to come to life. In 2017, her talent caught the eye of a carver from Belgium. They connected on Instagram, married, and settled in the Adirondacks. He too is now part of the team.
It's a very different life. Yeah, I guess a lot of nature, a lot of quietness.
His intricate work transformed wood into what looks like delicate lace.
I cannot believe that this is a piece of wood. It looks just like lace.
I added on it a very fine gold leaf to supplement.
When it all comes together, each piece becomes a unique work of art. Nestled in the heart of Lake Placid, overlooking Mirror Lake and the high peaks, stands the iconic Mirror Lake Inn and Resort.
The big thing that makes it so special is that there is such a hands-on presence by the people that care about it the most.
For over 100 years, the inn has been providing an authentic Adirondack experience. Each room blends elegant design with warm ambiance.
We kind of look at it as a 122-room bed and breakfast.
Andrew Weibrecht and his family are only the second to operate the inn since its opening in 1924. His father chose to forego climbing the corporate ladder, opting instead to forge a new life in Lake Placid, where he purchased the inn in 1976. Andrew grew up on the property.
As a kid, I grew up working here. I think my first job when I was 5 or 6 was picking up cigarette butts for, a nickel a cigarette butt, and that was back when people smoked.
And when he wasn't collecting those nickels, well, he was on the slopes.
Around here, as soon as you're walking, you're skiing or on skates or whatever it might be, whatever the flavor is that your family's into. So yeah, I started skiing when I was about 2 years old.
Oh yeah, before diving into full-time innkeeping, he won 2 Olympic medals in the Alpine Super G, one in Vancouver in 2010 and another in Sochi in 2014. The inn boasts a 444 diamond-rated restaurant, a luxurious spa, stunning fireplaces, and an après-ski bar converted from a charming old boathouse, complete with cozy heated gondola seating. Cheers! Breathtaking views included.
What you are looking at today is probably going to be the same view that you're going to see in 100 years from now. And that's a special thing.
And back to the Post family we met of woodworking fame, not related to the Post family of cereal brand fame.
However, the woodworking Post family has done some major projects for the Post cereal brand family as well at their Adirondack estate.
Marjorie Merriweather Post, beautiful property up there, unbelievable. Coming up, breakfast fit for an Olympian.